Work hard for what you want in life.
You work hard for what you want in life.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
Reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard.
The strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Work hard.
Work hard.
Work hard. Work hard. Work hard.
Hey guys, I'm Tatum.
And it's your girl Milan.
And welcome to episode 43 of the Black Girl Boss Podcast. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so I really just wanted to vent today because I've had this conversation a lot with them the past week about Instagram and social media. And so last week I kind of talked about it a little bit, how I feel like Instagram is pretty much the only social network I'm on, but Instagram kind of hinders my thinking. It just puts a limit to what otherwise be limitless thinking for me. And so I was on Instagram this week though, and I had reposted a video from this girl named Dana Chanel. Do you follow her?
I don't follow her.
Okay, so I saw this video. I actually don't follow her either.
Your page, though.
Yeah, I don't know how I came across the video, but in the video she was just basically talking about how she's unimpressed by this quote-unquote women empowerment. And she was talking about how a lot of people want to empower you, so basically tell you stuff to make you feel good, but nobody wants to give you an opportunity or give you something that you can really take to make your life better. So I really love that video because that's one of the reasons I became a coach, because I'm just was tired of everybody hyping you up, but once the feeling or that high goes away, then you don't really have anything to make your situation better. So I wanted to talk about this because I feel like Instagram and social media is just a way for people to fake like they're doing better than they actually are. And it's a way to I don't know, just put on this facade, and it's annoying as an entrepreneur, especially since we both now are doing this full time. It's annoying when you know the work that goes behind the scenes, the work that happens offline, and then people are just selling these dreams online that's just simply not true. So I don't know, I just had to get some things off my chest about this. Have you is there anybody that you follow that you be side-eyeing listen, we know that's not true?
Yeah, I do. Well, I did. I say you know exactly what you're talking about, of course. But it's more people than that though, and there's a lot of people that have DM'd me certain questions and stuff, and of course I don't mind answering. But then I actually look at the brand and the page, and it'll be, for example, this is not what somebody said, but it's an example of what comes in the DMs around this area. It's oh yeah, you like this design for a T-shirt? I'm what's the T-shirt for? Because I want to put out this design for a T-shirt. They don't have a brand. They don't have a company. So it's not that. It's just an addition to what they have. It's just no, I want to put this T-shirt design out because this represents the culture. What culture? Who? Who is it? So I get those all the time, and I'm okay. So I look at their page, and I see them promoting different things, going, oh yeah, come get with me at this party. This is my party. Then you see a T-shirt. Then I'm what? So what do you do? But then in the bio, it's clear as day, entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think that describes perfectly the difference between a hustler and an entrepreneur. A hustler I think about Hustle Man from Martin, they got the jacket with the jewels in it. They got the detergent in there. They got everything. You could just go to them and you could just get whatever you need for the low at that time. That's not an entrepreneur. I guess by definition maybe, but an entrepreneur is somebody who builds companies. Like Dana said in that video, somebody who builds companies for other people. But we get so caught up in let me just sell this, or let me just do that. Let me just XYZ real quick to make some money, and that's not entrepreneurship. Because when you're really an entrepreneur, you have to think long term. I always say you have to treat your business like a Fortune 500 company. And Fortune 500 companies plan for the long term. You have to sometimes make sacrifices in the now for long-term success. Like Amazon for the last few years has not been profitable because everything that they make, they put back into the company because of whatever the vision is for the long term. But it's like entrepreneurs or people online for some reason are just more infatuated with the right now. Like, what can I buy to make you think that I'm doing well? Like, it just drives me crazy, and it just puts up a fake perception of what entrepreneurship is. That's just not true.
Absolutely. And then they take it to the extent of going to events and just like going to networking events and just different events, posing as this person, as this entrepreneur, and I'm doing this in the community, I'm doing this, that, and the third. And, of course, it sounds good. It's also a good game, and it appears that way on social media, but then it comes down to when we always talk about profit. Are you making money or profit? And if you're making money, what are you making money off of? Because if you're not making the profit, then are you really an entrepreneur? Are you really succeeding? Or are you just talking a good game and you're just making a little bit of money here and there because you're selling oils and detergent out your jacket?
Yeah, exactly. And I think for everybody that's listening, and I look at it one or two ways. I look at it as if I'm taking a perspective of a business owner, an entrepreneur, it really drives me crazy. It just really does. If I'm looking at it from a consumer standpoint, it's like, who can you really trust? You know, if I'm looking for somebody to help me, let's say I'm looking for a business coach, and I thought this was, when I was at Blogalicious, I was talking to a girl, and she was like, so I told her I'm a business coach or whatever, and she was saying, you know, I always wanted to know about business coaches. Like, how do I know how do I know what coach to hire? She was like, if your only business is being a business coach or your only business has been being a business coach, how can I trust that you know how to do anything other than convince people to sign up for your program? And I was like, that is an excellent question. Like, that is a very good question. And that's the level of thinking I think everybody should have. Like, you should really analyze these people that you want to invest in. And I was telling her, I'm like, you know, I get it. So for me, when my first business, it wasn't being a business coach. You know, my youth program was my first business. So it's like me, and then also my professional background is in marketing and things like that. So my experience is very well-rounded, but I understand that objection. Like, if somebody is telling you I could teach you how to build a profitable business and they haven't, the only profit they've built is convincing enough people to say yes to them, I get that objection wholeheartedly. So I think as a consumer, for you guys who are scrolling on social media trying to figure out who you should invest in, et cetera, ask those type of questions. Don't be afraid to ask people what they think about your business or what their mindset is towards how you can grow your business. Like, don't be afraid to ask those questions, because that's how you're going to eliminate the reals from the fake. Don't be afraid to troll people for a little bit. Before I even invested in my business coach, I was following her for a while because I wanted to see how long she was going to last. You know, I wanted to see how consistent she was going to be in the things that she was saying. I wanted to see all of these things. So the same thing for you guys. It's a lot of Instagram motivators. It's a lot of social media coaches, etc. But you have to really weed through the fakes and decide what it is that you want for your business specifically, and then pick that person, whether it be you're investing in who they are, their character, whether it be you believe in them, whether it be you believe in their service, like whatever. Figure out what it is that you need before you decide to invest, because there is a lot of fakes. It really drives me crazy.
I definitely like what you said. You know, you were following Raven for a while before you even made any moves, just to see what she was doing. And I absolutely agree. You definitely have to follow these people, tune into if they have free webinars and stuff, get on their mailing list, see what they're sending out. Because like you said, you never know who you're dealing with, and that's the best research before you even get there. And then if they offer them discovery calls, hop on a discovery call. Get your questions out. Don't just sit there and look and assume that they're doing so great because that's what they're saying. But you really actually have to see these people in action. Like, I'm on mailing Raven's mailing list, and I love her mailing list. Like, I love everything that she sends out. And if I was ever to seek a business coach, you know, it would definitely be her. But that's because I see it in the stuff that she sends. I see it in the clients, you know, in the work that she produces. It's not like one of those, oh, yeah, mixy-maxy things. I'm selling T-shirts, I'm selling perfume, and I'm doing hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's one consistent thing, and it's always building on that thing. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yes. And I was also going to say, for you guys that's listening, you have to know the difference between somebody who sells information and somebody who sells a transformation. And this is something that comes up all the time. I was going to do like a live or something on it, but because we're on the show right now, I'm going to talk about it now too. There's a huge difference between the two. Information marketing is a huge, huge, huge industry. Like, it's $1 billion industry. That's why people are doing it. The business coaching industry, or coaching in general, is a huge industry as well, but they're two different industries. There's a difference between you paying for a course from somebody or you paying for a membership from somebody and they're selling you products on how to let's say how to build your Instagram following, or they're selling you products on how to make more money online, or they're selling you products on how to do certain things. That's one thing. Then there's somebody who is a coach who's going to work with you one-on-one so you can see the results in your business. Those are two different things, and I think people get the two mixed up. So where you're going to an information marketer for coaching, and that's not what they are. Then you end up being disappointed because you're trying to figure out how come this $27 workbook didn't get me 100,000 followers on Instagram. That's not what it's for. So we have to be more educated consumers as well, because by the time you spend all the money that you need to spend on an information marketer to get all the info that you need to piece together to do whatever it is you're trying to do, you would have spent way less money and time on a coach if you would have just invested in that service and understood what the difference is between the two. So I want everybody listening, when you're on social media and you're coming across you're weeding through the fakes and the phonies, trying to figure out who you should spend your money on, you have to be an educated consumer as well. Like, what I look for now, whenever I get to the point where I want to hire a business coach again, I'm probably going to be looking for something different. To be honest, my next business coach will probably be a white person and probably will be male, just because I want to know the diversity of opinion. That's it. I definitely don't value a white male's opinion more than anybody else, but I want to hear somebody else's perspective so I can make a more educated decision on my next move. So I think the foundation of what I'm trying to say is, like, you have to know what it is that you want in order for you to be able to determine who's the person to give it to you. And also understand the difference, again, between somebody who sells information and somebody who sells a transformation. If you just need a little bit of knowledge in order for you to take it and run with it, cool. If you know that you're going to have more questions over time and you want somebody that's going to really be there, you should invest in a coach. And I don't tell y'all this to invest in me. I never say, oh, you should invest in me. No, invest in whoever you think is going to help you get to where you want to go. I don't care who it is, as long as you get the results that you want. You know what I mean? So I definitely wanted to bring that up. It was something else I wanted to bring up that I can't even think right now because I'm sleeping.
No, I definitely agree with that as well, because, excuse me, I think getting sick again, and I cannot afford to. But anywho, you have to know what you're looking for too, what you're looking to get out of these people. Because if you're honestly just looking for someone who's going to hold your hand, pat your back, and tell you everything's going to be okay, you're doing great, and that's not the truth, then, that's the person you need to go with. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to be cutthroat and making sure that you're excelling in business and not just sparing your feelings, then, that's another type of person you need to look at. But don't just go off of what you see everybody else doing. Really think about who you are and what you're trying to get. Because if you are that person that just wants to pat on the back and somebody to tell you that you're doing good, okay, fine. That's great for you. But if you're looking to really grow, profit in business, and become this entrepreneur that, you're destined to be, then that may not be the person. But it all comes down to who you are, because everybody can offer something. It's just about who's the match for you and what you're really going to take and really going to consider and pay your money for.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's another thing. I know Tatum definitely can speak on it when it comes down to investing. Really putting that investment in, because I know a lot of people, even when it comes down to PR, they see the price and they're like, oh, well, I can't really afford that. So they try to find somebody that's cheaper. But if you got somebody that's cheaper, really think about it. What are you really paying for? Because if the cheaper price, you really gotta look at those things, right? Like if I know that I'm about to pay somebody $1,000 and I see their work, I see the results, and then I see what they're offering, I'm like, oh heck yes. And then I see somebody probably that I'm gonna pay $250 for, and they're half of that. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm really paying for what I'm getting, and that's with anything: clothing, shoes, food.
Yeah. And I actually posted, I think Raven or somebody posted this online, and I screenshotted and reposted it. And it was like if you paid $20 for a hotel room, you are not going to expect much. You're probably going to be at the Motel 6. There's probably going to be roaches up in there. Rats, etc. The bed going to be all uncomfortable. Like, you're going to expect nothing because that's what you pay for. So for people who are don't want to really invest, and you want to spend, let's say, $69 on a group coaching program, and then you're disappointed because you're not seeing the results because there's 50 other people in that program. You're not getting the individual attention that you might have wanted. But if you would have just spent $699 as opposed to $69, then a month, then you might be getting way more than, not you might, but you will be getting way more than if you would have paid that $69. And I was also going to say, when you guys as consumers, still speaking from the consumer standpoint, I'm going to get to the entrepreneur standpoint, but still speaking from a consumer standpoint, when you're trying to decide who's fake and who's phony, like Milan said, look at who has already invested in themselves. So if you're trying to get, let's say, a coach, ask if they had a coach before. If you're trying to get a publicist, ask them how much they paid on their education. You know what I mean? Or what certifications do they have, et cetera. Ask these type of questions, because there are people who are going to – there are people – this drives me nuts. I was talking about this in a group chat earlier. There are people who will literally just do something and then just sell you that. So there are people who will learn how to brush their teeth and then sell you a program on how to brush your teeth. That's not – like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
What is your expertise if all you do is sell what you've done? That doesn't make sense. Not only do you only know your experience, you are an expert in that, because all you did was learn to brush your teeth one time. You know what I'm saying? So for you guys who are trying to decide who to invest in, pay attention to their education. Pay attention to their experience as a whole. What are they an expert in, as opposed to what they're just trying to teach you? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, really.
And that I even, as hop into the business owner's perspective, I even look at that when it comes to myself. It's like, all right, you're helping people with this, that, and the other. Make sure your perspective is well-rounded too, because every client is not going to be you. So with me, it's like, okay, let me get into I got my degree already. I have my experience with these different jobs and stuff like that. Okay, let me get this marketing certification just in case it was something I didn't know, or it was a perspective that I didn't know. Let me get the education to add to my experience. Okay, let me get this master's to add to my experience so I can have a holistic approach to things. But if people who don't want to invest that time and that money, or me, let me keep investing in a coach to make sure I'm still doing the right thing. I've spent a lot of money on a coach over the last couple years. But it's those type of things that I'm willing to do, not to just grow my business, but to make sure the people that I serve have the service that they're looking for, or I'm fully equipped to get them where they're trying to go in their business. A lot of people are not willing to put in the time and the money that it takes to do that. So for you guys as consumers, weeding through the fakes, look for those type of things, because it's people selling you dreams, and I don't want you guys to be out here wasting time and money. That is not what I want you to do, just as like your virtual mentor or your virtual friend or your virtual business bestie on this podcast. I don't want y'all to do that. So I just had to talk about this on the show, because I'm so tired of seeing people doing that. And then everybody just wasting their money and being disappointed.
And then it puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth about others. Like, oh, them business coaches don't want to do this. Oh, them publicists do this, this, and the third, and you spend all your money. But it's not that. It's all of us. This is the person that you went to because they were an Instagrampreneur and you fell for it.
Instagrampreneur. I love that term.
Like, you fell for the funk. You fell for it, and that's what you got. You fell for the lifestyle and all those great things. And I think that's when it comes down to when we were talking about being transparent and stuff. A lot of these Instagrampreneurs, they put the glitz and glams out there, but they have no real side of transparency because nothing is happening in their quote-unquote entrepreneur world. So I think that's another reason why it's a good thing to follow people and really pay attention to what they're doing, because those who are really in entrepreneurship will not hold it in when there's something going on. Because it's like you're being fake. You're not really showing the process. And I think that's for all of us. I think we all have those moments where we will kind of put it out there. Like, y'all, it's not all this cracked up to be. This not that. You know, this is not what you think that it is. It took a lot to get here. But those Instagrampreneurs, they like, oh, yeah, you know, stacks on stacks, popping bottles, got the money in double bag. That's because that's what they're putting out, and people love to see that lifestyle, and that's their perception. They're like, okay, well, they living like that, then I definitely got to buy into it. But you don't even know what you're buying into because you didn't see how they got there. They didn't say anything. They're just showing you what the quote-unquote lifestyle is. So you got right into that and be sitting there stuck, just like them, flexing on Instagram, being an entrepreneur.
Exactly. And that's something that I want you guys who are listening to get as well. Understand that things take time. Don't get caught up in seeing what everybody's doing on social media, thinking that your success is supposed to come overnight. One, there's different levels to success. And two, everybody's perspective of success is different. And three, the common denominator between it is it all takes time. It takes time for you to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes to grow your business. It takes time for you to do one thing and it not work, and then you have to go back to the drawing board. Like, things take time. And I think social media sells a dream as if everything or success is instantaneous when it's really not. It really, really takes time. There are ways to cut back on the time, like investing in coaches or investing in various things. Those do save you time because then you're able to learn from somebody else's mistakes. But it takes time in your individual journey. A lot of times we try to do too many things at one time. You got to pick what you're going to focus on. You know what I mean? So that's another thing I think that people get lost on, is that it takes time. And also hop into the perspective of a business owner. If you're somebody who uses social media to grow your brand, or you use social media to get clients and things like that, don't be let's say coerced into thinking that you have to tell all of your business. And what I mean by that is there are Instagram or social media entrepreneurs who do things like show, let's say, their income reports or show how much money they're making. And it kind of makes you, as somebody who may sell information or a service or whatever, feel like you have to tell those things. You really don't have to. Like, you have to decide, and we get this question a lot, like, how do you decide what you will and will put out on social media? Aside from me not willing to put out my relationship with my family, I'm never going to tell you how much money I make. That is nobody's business. Like, that is absolutely nobody's business. And that does not mean I don't make a lot of money or what you may think is a lot of money. That means that that's none of your business. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't, as for real, you guys who are business owners, don't think that you have to give in to the hype of, oh, let me buy this Gucci bag so people could think I'm doing well, or let me post how much money I made this week so people could think I'm doing well. That is nobody's business. Talk about your expertise. Talk about what makes you excellent at what it is that you do. Talk about the results that people get based off of your products or your services. Don't think you got to be out here screenshotting your PayPal. That is nobody's freaking business. And that really just drives me crazy, because that's one thing. Me and my coach were talking about this week, and I was telling her, we were talking about social media, and I was saying how I'm just so happy that now I have a social media manager to where I'm not going to have to do as much scrolling, because I just get so annoyed by all of the stuff that's online. And she was like, yeah, she was like, a lot of people expect you to do things like show your numbers. And she was saying that's something she doesn't do. And that's definitely something I'm not going to do, because then it's like, once I let you into my money, you are going to feel entitled to always be in it. And that's just not going to happen. Because the fact of the matter is, because let's be real about entrepreneurship, I may make $10,000 this month and next month make $3,000. Or I may make $4,000 today, and tomorrow I don't make anything. But then if I let you all into my business, you might be like, oh dang, she made $4,000 on Monday. She ain't make nothing on Tuesday. She must not know what she's doing. No, that's a part of entrepreneurship, dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they be paying them. They these entrepreneurs, girl. That's what they stuck on. You gotta remember that. That's what they stuck on.
I can't. It really, really drives me crazy, from the point of just the pressure not the pressure it puts on you, because I don't accept that pressure. I know what I'm good at. But the pressure that it puts on some people to feel like they have to do certain things to be successful. And then the pressure and then just the fakeness that it puts out there, to where people think they're getting something when they purchase from you that they're not. Like, like for real, I had to just get this out on this episode, because it really, really, really just drives me nuts. I can't. So, go ahead.
No, it's just it's one of those things. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. And you're gonna be annoyed, but nonetheless, you just have to keep putting that positivity out there of entrepreneurship and being transparent and being that entrepreneur and not that entrepreneur. So it's gonna always be there. And as the generations get younger, we're gonna see it even more. Oh my God. Oh my God, we're gonna see it so much more. But it's up to us as Black Girl Bosses to really put our hands on the children, on the youth. Each one teach one. That was the hands on the youth to show them the way, because, like I said, as the generations get younger, and it's not even really from our generation that I see it. I do see it from the younger generations, like those that are like 19, 20, or in their, starting 20s, like my little brother is. I see it more from them than anything on Instagram. The entrepreneurs that I see that are our age are ones that we've discussed before. And you know who I'm saying and what I'm saying. Those are the ones that I see now, who are trying to find their way, but so stuck in their life of trying to be on top, and like you said, showing the PayPals and doing this and showing the glitz and glam, but have really not had a struggle, have not really stepped into entrepreneurship. So they're making it look one way, and it's completely not. People are definitely buying into it. So I think it's two different ways that I've seen it being posted.
Yeah, and on social media as well, you don't know the structure behind people's businesses. Like, okay, let's keep it all the way real. It's people who will be on Instagram posting all this stuff about the lifestyle, how the glitz and glam and all of the bright, shiny objects, whose business isn't in good standing because they're not filing their paperwork every year. Like, let's talk about it. Who's not paying their taxes? Like, these are the back-end parts of business that people like skip over. I was telling somebody recently, I was like, it's because of social media, it's easy for you to be like, okay, let me change this in my bio. Let me make these pretty graphics. Let me make this pretty website. But what is your business structure? Are you filed in your state as whatever business structure that you choose? Do you know the paperwork that has to be filed every single year in order for your business to stay in good standing? What about business credit? Have you started thinking about that? Have you gotten your credit together so that your business credit could start out all right? How much do you even need to make to be profitable? What does your pricing need to be like to cover the cost of what it is that you do, as well as have a good profit margin? Do you have a business bank account? Like, these are the things that you don't see on social media that matter. Like, what do you want to be doing 10 years from now? Do you still want to, when Instagram is gone, what is your business going to look like? When social media is gone and the technology has gone into this whole virtual reality thing that is going towards now, what is your business really going to look like? You know what I mean? Like, are you hustling and have all these photo shoots and all these pretty pictures, but what does it look like under the surface? And a lot of people like to skip those parts. And that's why when it comes to my clients and people I work with, I'll be like, okay, what is the sales funnel? What is the process that happens when people buy? You know what I mean? When you're talking to people, do you know the next steps that they're going to take? And even for myself, when I have a new service, it's like, okay, what does this look like? What are the logistics behind this? When I get on the phone for a discovery call, what does next steps look like? And this is even these are processes that change over time. When I first started taking discovery calls for my coaching program, people would just be able to sign up. And I was telling somebody about this earlier this week. People would just sign up. My schedule was like booked. I had discovery call after discovery call, like booked and busy. But I wasn't having quality leads, meaning my ideal clients weren't the people signing up for calls with me. I was getting on these calls and talking to people, and they weren't converting to clients. So then I have to go back to the drawing board and say, well, what's wrong here? I have the volume, but I don't have the quality. So something has to change in my process. So I implemented something like, one, I told y'all last week how the podcast became a lot more authoritative as opposed to inspirational, because that was one of the problems. And then two, when it came to my discovery calls, having an application. Let's get these questions out beforehand to know if we even need to talk. So are you ready to invest? What are your goals? What's stopping you from reaching your goals? Are you willing to commit the time period that it's going to take for you to see these results? You know, what's your budget? And having an option that is the only option, because I know how much my program costs, so the budget option is the only option that you need to pick, because if your budget doesn't match that, we don't even need to get on the phone yet until it does. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, after making those adjustments, now the people that I talk to, clients, you know, my conversion rate is amazing, because now it's less volume. So no, I don't have 100 discovery calls in a week. I may have 10, but those 10 convert to clients because those 10 are qualified leads. But that's the stuff that's not on Instagram. That's the stuff that's not on social media. That's the business acumen that you have to have that's not on social media, so you know what you're doing besides posting and what time to post and what color it should be. You know what I'm saying? So I just said a lot, and I feel better because I feel like I just let all of this off my chest because it drives me nuts. And it was to the point, too, for me, and like, I was starting to feel crazy because it's like, I don't understand how people are doing this. You know, just being real, I'm looking like, how are you doing? Your business cannot be doing that good on the back end. Like, you have to, something has to be wrong, because it just doesn't add up. Or people ask me like, oh, why don't you post this more, post that more? Because I actually need time to do the work it takes to grow a business. You know, there's a lot of offline things that need to happen. There's a lot of money that needs to be made. Because, like, for example, in Maryland, when you have to file your, what is it called? Form 1. I forgot the technical name. I think it's the personal property something. You have to file every year. You know, that costs $300 just to file it. So now when you're paying out you're planning out your finances for your business, you need to make sure, oh, I can't just keep spending all this money on this stuff. I need to factor in the legal stuff into my business expenses. So these are the type of things, and I think I'm done after this, but these are the type of things that you guys, I wanted to bring this up because business is a lot. It's a lot that goes on offline. And if there's a Breakfast Club interview that T.D. Jakes did, and I think I want to go into more detail about it on another show or something, but he was saying how, like, Black women specifically are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, but we're not lasting in business. And that's a big thing. It's easy to be like, oh, yes, you know, Black girl magic, Black girl boss, we all starting businesses, but we're not lasting, though. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to start a business that fails. I don't spend the time, the money, the tears, the headaches that I do on business for it not to work. Like, what? Like, come on. It has to last. This is my life. It has to work. There is nothing else. It has to work. But it's because of this facade in my opinion, is because of this facade and this social media stuff and all of this glitz and glam, why people aren't really taking care of the back end or even educating themselves on the back end to be able to last in business. So I wanted to have this venting session on here, not to just bash anybody, because it's not what we're about, or to put anybody down, but for one, so you guys can make more educated decisions on who you're going to invest in and be able to weed through the fakes, and two, so you can know that it takes way more than the stuff you see online to build a business that lasts. So I'm done. Drops mic.
So we'll say drops mic. This is session over.
Yeah, so what else do I think that's it. That's all I got. This podcast is about, almost 40 minutes, so I think we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah, I don't have anything to no, I lied. I had something to bitch about.
Go ahead.
And say I didn't have nothing to bitch about. Okay, so this is what really bothers me, and then I swear this is all that I have to say. And this is not about entrepreneurs or whatever. This is about clientele. And and your clientele communicating with you as the person providing the service. So I'm not going to say who can't get that information out, but I was looking for a PA for one of my clients, and we thought we were on a good roll. The person necessarily didn't like some of the applicants, and I was trying to figure out, well, what didn't you like? Because, some of these applicants have exactly what you're looking for. Never got a response back. So long story short, probably like 2 days later, they pop up and put me in a group chat with this person and like, hey, this is my PA.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it was kind of like a smack in the face because, one, I'm sitting here doing this work. I'm sitting here, still filtering through applications and trying to find people and get them together, having them do what you ask. And then you just pop up out of nowhere, not responding to my text message, not communicating like, hey, I think I found somebody that I really want to utilize. You just pop up with a whole PA. And you're just like, oh, yeah, this is the person that I'm going to go with. This is X, Y, and Z. And can you communicate with her what we have going on and what I do? So I really felt some type of way about that. Because, one, like I said, I'm providing a service as far as, getting all this together. Two, that's no introduction to introduce somebody, especially if I was not aware of who this person was. And that's going to come off very rude and disrespectful, in my opinion. Putting this in there like, hey, Milan, this is such and such, this is my PA. And you're looking like, so when did this happen? Who was this? And why didn't you just say that you had found someone?
I don't know. Did you talk to them about that?
I haven't, because I haven't found the words yet. And I wanted to find them properly, make sure that everything that I was saying was articulated in, a professional manner, and it didn't sound, unprofessional. But I did respond back today to the person, the PA, because they sent me a message. So I responded back to them, but that's it. I haven't talked to my client yet. So this is just on Friday, and Friday is a day that I technically, quote-unquote, don't work. It's my self-care day. So I definitely just read the message and just let it be because, yeah, I wasn't going to let that energy disrupt my Friday.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think, well, not I think, but when we start businesses, we care. Like, our heart is into it. It's our baby. So when something happens and something happens like that, you kind of take it personally because your business is your baby, but then you can't take it personally because it is just business. But I get it. And I think that's one of the things that people don't talk about enough as well. Just sometimes, yeah, it's just business, but when you started something from scratch, your heart is into it. I was watching, what record show was I watching? I was watching, Black Ink Crew Chicago. And it's the same way like the guy Ford, he got so upset because, and was almost like, I'm probably not even going to tattoo anymore because he did a tattoo on that lady and she didn't like it. And that doesn't take away from the fact that he's an excellent tattoo artist and he's great at what he does. It's just that she didn't like it. The client didn't like it. The customer's always right. And it hurt his feelings. And I think that's a part of entrepreneurship as well. You get your feelings hurt sometimes with people or customers or whomever, and that's just a part of it. But that don't look good on Instagram, no. So that's why nobody talk about it. But
Yeah, exactly.
That's a part of it. But that's why, it's good to be a professional. So like you said, you saw it and you was like, your feelings was hurt, but I'm not going to say nothing about this until I'm able to address it professionally, etc. But, yeah, I'm glad that you're not thinking about quitting or anything like that over it. And I think that's a good message for you guys that are listening. Sometimes we get our feelings hurt. It's a part of business, but you just got to bounce back. Big Sean said it best. Last night took an L, but tonight I bounced back.
No, absolutely. But it was just, it just caught me off guard. Because mind you, I'm just sitting there and it just comes across my phone.
Mhm.
There was no pre-warning. There was no, hey, Lon, can we talk?
Mhm.
It was none of that. And just smacked me in my face. I'm getting irritated again. I start scratching my scalp like, ugh. That's so annoying. And like you said, it's just the work that you put in, and then it's your baby. It's just your baby. And I was taking it very seriously because, one, you hired me to do a service, and I'm going to do my service.
Mhm.
And granted, this technically wasn't a part of the PR service, but
it was one of those I was trying to go be above and beyond.
You're right. As opposed to these things to just, and as any entrepreneur, sometimes it's not in your job description, but you just sometimes just go above and beyond because that's just maybe in your character.
Yeah.
It's hurting me too bad to do this, so why not? So that, like I said, but I just had to find the right words. I think I'm ready to respond now. I'm going to pray about it first.
Yes, do that.
I'm going to pray about it because God will give me my words. And definitely going to tie my tongue together and give me the proper words to say. But, I'm not going to quit. It's not a reason to quit. It's just that we need to come to an understanding. I think that's what more of it is. And that's okay, y'all, to come to an understanding with your clients.
Yeah, that's a part of customer service. That's all a part of customer service. You're not going to do everything right all the time. It's about customer service. And then how you handle that as well is a big deal. So if, let's say, you talk to her and she says, well, I didn't like the people that you were bringing to me. So, because sometimes I'm like this too. Sometimes people just be wanting to take things into their own hands, like I'm just going to do it myself. That's just in some people's personality types. So it's good, as a part of customer service, just have those types of conversations to be like, okay, well, you found this person. Was there something that I didn't do right? Was there something that you were looking for that I didn't provide for you? Adding that special touch to it is important as well, because that's a big problem that people have when it comes to Black businesses is customer service. So when these things happen, that's when we got to put on our Chick-fil-A hat and how may I serve you, and rectify the situation in the best way. But yes, customer service, I think, is something that is not talked about enough in entrepreneurship for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just a process that we all have to go through. So I can't wait to hear y'all experiences and everything. Because I know you listen to Tatum and I every week, but I need to know what y'all be going through because, honey, listen, I know we're not the only ones dealing with it.
Exactly. All right, you guys, so that wraps up a venting episode. I think it's nice to have these type of episodes where it's like, can I just get it off my chest? Yes, so we will talk to you guys next week.